Hi, and I want to begin with a bow. So welcome to Unit 5. In this part of the course, we're looking at the three phases of life transitions, and particularly last week and this week, we're looking at the first phase, generally called separation or severance. It's the phase where we step away from the old life, the old identity, the old life stage, the old phase of our lives, in order to discover what new possibilities there are. Last week we looked at one of the particular tasks of this stage, and that is the expansion out of the old into the possibilities. That expansion is a kind of beginning of the change. It's the initiation of the change. It takes courage. It takes boldness in order to step away from the familiar that we've known. Sometimes the emotional flavor of this particular task comes to us as anger. It's the anger that causes us to push away or expand. But when we really look into that anger, we discover that it's simply the surface of a particular element or a particular aspect of our true nature as human beings, the true nature of reality. So along with expansion and separation from the old comes the kind of fierceness to step into our lives, to claim what's real for us now. So the anger becomes more of a doorway into a deeper kind of strength, expansion. In the discussions this past week, somebody spoke of the intensity of their lives and the intensity of this stage. I think it's a good word for this particular task. It's intense to let go of the old and to move away from the comforts and even if it was uncomfortable, it's been familiar to us. And so this expansion allows us to hold that intensity. It's as if we become a bigger basket as we expand, and that basket can contain the anger, the intensity, so that we can better integrate and find the value in this stage. This strength is an ally to us when the time comes for us to expand beyond the old and outdated parts of our lives. Now this week we look at a second task that comes still with this first stage of severance or separation. Every loss entails grief. Some more than others. For some of us, maybe it's the strength, the anger, the expansion, the courage, the boldness that's more prominent. For others of us, as we leave behind the old phases and stages of our lives, we're more struck by the sadness, the loss, the grief. And this grief also comes with its own ally. That grief invokes and invites a kind of compassion. Not the compassion that might take away our feelings, but the kind of compassion that can allow us to be present with our feelings. Because this is part of the task of life transitions, is moving into the grief in order to do the deep inner work that's necessary for us to let go of the old in order to move forward into what's not yet. So, this week we look at grief and we look at compassion. I was looking at the pictures in Unit 5, part of the study material, and it struck me how intimate those pictures of grieving people were. And it struck me that grief itself is such a vulnerable place, and it really does open us. I felt a little, uncomfortable looking at these pictures of people in such a vulnerable, open, grieving moment. And I think that is a window into some of the potential of this phase. The potential of grief and the potential of compassion is that it opens us to deeper and more raw kind of intimacy. So I look forward to our discussions this week. Also looking forward to your first review paper, and we'll have our discussions around that also. So let me know if you have any questions about where to post that or how to submit it. Notice that you have to submit it in two different areas, one in the assignments area, the grade book, and also in the discussion forums. So more about that if you have any questions. Finally, I want to say thanks for the discussions that are happening, particularly in the experiential exercise forum. I really appreciate what you're asking and sharing and revealing in those discussions. So, I'm going to bow. Thanks for being here, and I will see you online.